a lot of free agents just did whatever they did to buy time. Mitch never did that, though. He never did that.
Absolutely he did. He said he wanted to stay 100 times.
No, he did not. Not during the season. Not during the season. The only thing they said, Darren Ferris went on record saying we're gonna play it out. We're gonna go to July 1st.
Yeah.
So tea leaves. I had always said that, is there a chance he could change his mind? I'll give anybody the benefit of the doubt to change their mind in the last second. I really thought if there was a chance that they could go to a conference final or Stanley Cup final, and he had great success, that he could find a way to stay. But I also said on record, I told you guys that if he signed for $13 million times 8 in February or March, and they lost like this again, where they were thoroughly embarrassed in 5 or 7, that guy can't leave the house.
Yeah.
After he just signed 13-8, and then where is he?
Yeah. But if he doesn't, if he doesn't take a full no move clause or whatever, you could potentially get traded out of here or whatever. But it would have been more. I guess it ended up being the same thing. I guess kind of, but I don't know. Because I think the great sliding door moments for me, and I know we're going back here, but I mean, everybody's watching the other show anyway. So, but the summer where Dubas left, and there was that week after they got put out bitterly in 5 games against the Florida Panthers. And there was the week there, which was one of the wilder weeks ever, when Dubas comes out and does that press conference. It's like, I got to look out what's best for my family. And Shanahan fires them, does the press conference. Brad Treliving comes in, and all within that 2-week stretch, or 3-week stretch, that was the last opportunity to move Marner without a full no-move clause. And for Brad Treliving to come in here and be like, it's a fresh set of eyes, I got to do that stretch right there, for me, was the turning point. Like, don't you think Dubas probably would have tried to trade him at that point?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
Like Kipper, I mean, I don't know, I could be talking out of my, you-know-what.
Yeah, I think they had valued what he brought, and this was a team that was still doubling and tripling down, and they could not trade their best two-way forward.
Yeah.
They just couldn't.
So then a lot of it was Shanahan's, like his dream to keep all 4 together and have that plan work. I'm trying to look for answers here. Why he never got traded?
I think so. I think Brendan was in so deep on the belief of these 4 guys and needing to fail multiple times, and we all heard the stories, how many times it took Ovechkin, how many times it took
Stevie Y.
And these guys are just going through the process, and I'm all in on these guys.
Okay. And I think if you're Brad Treliving, you come in and you have a Mitch Marner, you don't want to suddenly not have a Mitch Marner.
I think
the fresh set of eyes actually hurt them as opposed to helping them.
Yes.
I think the one thing that probably hurt the process as well into Brad Treliving's tenure here was when they had lost, I guess, two years ago, and he was first eligible to be re-signed. And on the last renewals of Austin and Nylander, it was, we have to sign them, and we're going to do everything we can, and they're a big part. And it was just the message was clear that they weren't going anywhere as far as I'm concerned, and we're going to do everything we can. It's a top priority. And then when Mitch first came up for a contract renewal, it was like, I can't remember the exact term, but it was like
everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table,
but
it was not. We need to get this guy signed. It was, I'm not making any promises at all, and it was probably with the fact that Mitch disappointed him, and he disappointed a lot of people, and maybe we got to find a way to get him out. I don't know why. Maybe he was scared to say Mitch is a big part of it, and then have the whole hockey Leaf world go, "Are you nuts? Break him up." And we did it too. I did it. That year I said it's over for the core 4. Trade Mitch.
Remember.
But this exact thing is like what my complaint about the Marner era has been. This perception that they're not talking as nice about me as those guys. Or Jonas had the quote from Paul Marner in his article today about how no one talks about Mitch for captain, and it makes our family really upset. Or there's the Schedule B bonuses that weren't played, but Matthew's got his. This like holy tiny resentment thing that really so what I think is for Mitch Marner, this is awesome. This is the best thing for him because he's an ecosystem here, Kev. So go ahead. Were you gonna say something? He's an ecosystem. We had his skating coach on the first year that we were here. We all know the people that are around him and in his ear a lot. I think it's going to be great for him. Good contract, good team.
Yeah.
Take your wife, take your baby, start a life where hopefully it's a little quieter and he can, have that joy. I think Mitch is going to have big years in the next few years. I'm not just saying, I really do.
But and this market ultimately won't care because they'll be focused on the Leafs as they should be. So that's great for Mitch. It's great for Vegas that he goes on and lives happily ever after.
Everyone I just mentioned.
But where does that leave the Leafs now?
Well, they need to figure out how to spend this money, and it's
what
going to
money?
be hard to get better.
What money? I'm not sure there's how much money is out there and where is it going?
Well, you haven't had Matthias Michelli making 3.4 and Nick Waugh making 3, like guys that are behind the core 4 who make any money. That hasn't been a thing that they've been able to do. So.
But, just to use what happened today as an example, boys, think about, Brock Besser goes back to the Canucks after, publicly his general manager who signed the contract being like, yeah, we couldn't get anything for him at the deadline. And it's like, yeah, we basically drove him out of town, and they end up re-signing him. It's like, Leafs management never said anything close to that bad about Mitch Marner. And it's like this slighted feeling. It's like, if Brock Besser can re-sign in Vancouver after what they said about it, Mitch could re-sign here.
Yeah, I don't blame him for not wanting to, by the way. But yes,
no,
he could.
Listen, it's not even it's not apples to apples.
Well, it's a comparable situation.
No, it's not, because Brock didn't feel like it was unsafe to leave his house. Mitch did, guys. Okay? Garbage thrown over his house, golf balls thrown, needing police some nights after the playoffs, death threats. Come on. It's like, no good. No good. He had to leave. He just had to leave. And it's not just